Good evening, everyone. Myself, Kishan Parakya. I'm working as a senior engineer in a D-Link India Private Limited. Before starting actual session, I would like to say thank you to all for joining today's session, and thank you for keeping a trust and by supporting a D-Link. And we are hoping with your same trust and support, we will achieve a bigger milestone for upcoming future. Today's session, what we're going to cover, that I will just give you a short intro of it. So we'll first see the market trends of 2024, followed by our technology trends of 2024, then dealing surveillance product portfolio, where we are going to cover about the camera and VR application and VMS, followed by PoE switch, where we are going to cover a basic of a switch, what are the important factors for the selecting a switch, and smart managed switch. Then we'll see some solution design and question and answer. During the session, if you have any doubts or a query, you can put your questions on a chat box. Our team is available, Mr. Vedant and Mr. Shreyas, to answer your query on the chat box. Or at the end of the session, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your queries. So let's start with the first market trends. Right. So when surveillance was launched first time in the market, that time very few people were installing the cameras in their premises or in offices. But gradually when time passed, people started to aware about the surveillance product and they started installing the cameras in their premises. And now if you're comparing, they're even installing the cameras in their home also to make sure that in their absence, the premises will be secure, which shows that market is demand is increasing for the surveillance product. So as per the 2023 survey, by end of this year, that is 2024, the Indian CCTV market size would be around $3.98 billion, whereas by 2029, it expected to be around $10.9 billion. When I say Indian market size, so mostly the camera currently are installed in the tier 1 and tier 2 cities, where North region is having highest installed camera, followed by South and West. There are some trends in 2024. The first one is about the promote manufacturing in India. During the pandemic, our government has started one initiative that we should make a product manufactured in India, or you can say made in India. And now, after this pandemic of 4 years, many companies have started the manufacturing of product in India itself, and D-Link is one of them. We also started our surveillance product manufacturing last year, 2023 onwards. Second is about the demand of the IP camera. So when IP camera was initially launched, that time the people doesn't know about its capability, its feature, its what is the technology, and few only person were installing the IP cameras, and the prices was very high during that time. But if you compare now, people started aware about the IP cameras, they have installing the IP cameras, and it's gradually increasing the demand of the IP camera as compared to the analog, and the pricing of the cameras also reduced. Plus, if you see current scenario, in the past analog system was accepted by everyone, but now in current scenarios 45% market, or you can say more than 45% market, are having installed IP cameras, and it is keep gradually increasing day by day. enhanced image quality. When I say enhanced image quality, normally when we purchase any phones, right? Normally what we do, we just check the camera specs, but we focus on the camera of the mobile and we capture the photo and we'll see what is the image quality of my product or the camera. By zooming it, it is getting pixelated or not, right? That is what normally we do. Same now when come to the surveillance side, initially the people were happy with the 1 megapixel, 2 megapixel resolution camera. But if something incident happens in that area or in front of their premises, right? And when they see the footage of that of incident, they are not able to identify the details of it, which very problematic for them. So they have now started taking a higher megapixel resolution, that they at least they have a 5 megapixel of resolution or 4K cameras, so that they can capture all the details and they can have the, or if an incident happens, they can have all the details of the incident and they can see the clearly details of it. Cloud storage. So basically the cloud storage, when I say cloud, right, it means a data storage place, that I have some place where I have stored my data and I am accessing from anywhere and you don't need to be there for a particular location. For example, we are normally divided using our Google Drive, right? The photos or the videos which we are liking, we already upload that in our Google Drive, and from there we can download from anywhere. Though it's my phone is switched off, or I can use my laptop through which I can log in my account and I can download this data, which is very secure to me, right? So now cloud storage is also help us in surveillance. Just 1 second. Uh, so cloud storage basically will help us in the surveillance, that we can store our data on our cloud and we can access it from anywhere through internet. So I don't need to be depend upon my network, or you can say on a local site, that I can access data from locally only, which is also make sure that I can, if anything happens to my device on the local side, still I have my backup on my cloud and through which I can download and I can have a backup of it for my future perspective. Let's move to the next slide as technology trends, AI and predictive analysis. When I say AI, it means artificial intelligence. So initially when it was launched, we were thinking that it is only for the automation industries or the high-end industries, but it is not now in current scenarios. It is also helping us in our day-to-day life, right? So for example, when I say a day-to-day life, it means we are all also using a smartwatch, right? Smartwatch, which is used by everyone in nowadays, and it's like it is counting your footsteps, it is counting your breathing, it is counting your heart rate, everything, your oxygen level and everything, and it is making sure that the all the data of based on daily, weekly, monthly, and the yearly, it is showing you the data of it. But if there is some changes in the your breathing pattern, or you can say in heart rate or in the oxygen level of yours, it will immediately give you the alert that there is a chance that you might get the heart attack. You might have seen this feature in the Apple Watch. So it shows that our AI is predicting based on our past, by reading our patterns of movements and everything, and giving it the alert accordingly to take the precaution for your future. Same way, in the surveillance, AI also helping us. If you see, a few years back when the face detection was launched, or the face recognition camera was launched, right? We were just capturing the photos and comparing with the whatever the database we have, but we are not getting any kind of details or you can say attributes with it. But now, if I'm comparing, we have the attributes like a person expression, person age, person clothes color. So these all details like getting it. So if I don't remember the person face and the person is captured in these cameras, so I can by just using these attributes, I can search it and I can found the data of that particular person. So this is what AI is helping me. Same goes for the detailed sections also. Right, the fisheye camera. The fisheye camera what we are installing normally in the uh, ceiling, right, which help us with the feature of called heat mapping, which is shows that where people gathering is much more, right? It shows that data of it, that how many persons are gathering in one particular area, and it shows by colors or some numbers of it. But now with the AI, it is helping us in a two ways. First, it's showing us where the people gathering is more, plus it's counting and how people are going or moving around your premises. Collecting this all data, it is creating a one report which helping us a retail business owner that this is how the patterns of your uh, visit of the customers in your premises based on normal days, based on weekends, and based on one some festival days. And accordingly, the business person decides his strategy and is doing his business. Thermal imaging and 360 cameras. So basically, thermal cameras are not just we are thinking that during the pandemic they are mostly used for the man or for measuring your temperature, showing you the alert of the body temperature. But it's not just a one application. You use it in a many ways, like you are using for the border for your forest areas where if any person is moving in the forest area and now normal cameras won't able to see that person movement, but thermal cameras help us to finding out there. Plus, these cameras also can be used in your chemical plants where the chemical is boiling, and basically you can also give a you can benchmark in the camera itself that if the boiling of the or the temperature goes above this decided temperature, right, it will give you the alert. Same 360 cameras, like 360-degree cameras. So normally when people wants to cover the large area, normally basically do we install multiple cameras and you try to cover the whole area. But because of this multiple camera installation, there will be some blind spot will be there. So to overcome this, we can have a panel view camera or you can say 360-degree cameras, in which we have both the combination of fixed lens as well as a PTZ camera through which you can monitor or you can say cover the whole area with the help of single camera. You don't require a multiple cameras to be installed at particular place. So basically, you install this kind of cameras or panel view cameras on the uh, height or you can say on the top of the building, and through which you can monitor the whole area. And if you're finding any object or any person to be tracked, you can by easily so selecting that person or the object, you can just your PTZ will help you to tag that person. So this is panel view cameras, and we can also there comes with a smaller panel view cameras which can be used for the indoor purpose. So you might have a large conference room or you can say a very large cafeteria, and you just install the cameras on a center and cover the whole 360 view of your pantry or the cafeteria. IoT integration. So IoT integration is basically Internet of Things. So when one device want to share the data to the another device over the internet, we normally use these IoT features, right? Basically, they can communicate over the internet. The best example is our smart home automation. So when you do home automation, right, you have multiple things in your home. You have a cameras, you have a curtains, you have a switches, you have a fridge, you have a AC, you have TVs, multiple things are you having in your home appliances. And this all you can be connected with a single internet connection and you can manage with the single application. So if you forget something, Let's say I just went outside from my home and I forget something to switch off my light from my application. I can just directly easily do it. Same way, if I'm traveling and it's very hot outside and I'm going to my home and it's feeling very uh, hot on outside. So by before the reaching the home, I'll just switch on my AC. So by the time I will reach my home, it will be very pleasant temperature for me. So this is how you can use the IoT features. In the surveillance, same way we can use it. Like I have my access control in my offices as well as my cameras on my offices, right? If some person is coming in a non-working hours or entering in non-working hours in my premises by using his access card or by using his password or anything is entering in my premises, immediately when person is just punching his card or entering his details, immediately through camera I will get the alert that this person is trying to enter in your premises on this non-working hours. So this is how IoT help us to finding out the person or to give you alert. So where human intervention is very less, the device is communicating over the internet to each other. Cyber securities. When I say cyber securities is basically like currently nowadays all the devices are connected on the NVR on the internet, right? All the devices are connected on the internet, and we need to make sure that my device should be secure so that nobody can attack my device and they can't access my data because that are very important for me. So, for example, like if you might have heard of some of the banks customers' account has been hacked or the credit card due to the lack of that cyber security. So nowadays, even our government has also started that our product should be cyber secure so that nobody can access your data from the outside and your data will be very secure and it will be very uh, important for you so that we need to make sure that our product should be cyber secure. So this was about the our trends in the market. Now we'll move to the camera side. So we'll start with the first T-Link IP camera. So in 2020-23, we started with the our indigenous IP surveillance product. We are giving it as an indigenous name as it is manufactured in India. That is why we have given the name as an indigenous surveillance IP camera. So in 2023, we launched our first IP cameras with the two variants in 2 megapixel and the 5 megapixel. So 2 megapixel having a two models, one with the bullet shape and one with the dome shape, having a 3.6 mm fixed length and higher distance of 30 meters. Same goes for the 5 megapixel. We have launched with the same dome and the bullet and having a 3.6 mm lens and higher distance of 30 meters. And all these four models having a options of, or you can say, by default we have given as a inbuilt mic option in this. So you want, you can enable the audio at any time, or you can disable the audio as per your requirement. Then in this year, in the last quarter, we launched with the four more cameras, that is color cameras, in a two variant, that is 3MP and the 5MP. So instead of 2 megapixel, we come up with a 3MP and we also have a 5MP. In this camera, the dome camera is having a 2.8 mm of lens, whereas the bullet camera is having a 3.6 mm of lens. So these cameras are basically used for 24/7 monitoring purpose. Plus, these are the USP of our camera, that we have a human detection as well as vehicle detection. So the you see here 2 megapixel and the 3 megapixel, these four models having options of human and the vehicle detection. So if anybody, any person comes in your premises in your absence, you can directly get the alert. So as you can see in this image, if any human is coming in your premises, immediately I will get the alert. For the alert, we have a multiple options for that. Either you can get the mobile notification, or you can get the pop-up message on your window or on a VMS. Even you can have an email notification, your FTP notification, as well as we have a buzzer option in the for the alert notification. So these are the options for the human detection, the vehicle detection. Same goes for the 5 megapixel. That for the 5 megapixel is only supporting the human detection, but not the vehicle detection. Then we have a photo updates. That is normally we used to like when I want to upgrade my phone, right? So normally what we do, we go to the setting and we'll check for the is there any new software is available or not, right? So same way we have given this option in our camera itself that you need to just log in on the browser, right? And you can just check that the new firmware is available or not. If it is available, just select it and click on the upgrade button. Your firmware will be get upgraded. So no need of doing that, downloading the firmware, going to the customer and customer premises and upgrading your firmware of the device. You can just directly take a remote of that device, or you can just give a direction of to the end customer that these are the steps you can follow and you can upgrade the software easily. In the color cameras, we have not using a yellow light, we are using a white light because we are getting a very brighter image and the colorful full image as compared to the yellow light. Plus, advantage of white light is that all details will be very clear as compared to the yellow light. And we also we have given the option in the camera that you can make adjust the brightness according to your requirement. By default is auto mode, but if you want to change, you can change it by yourself also. Then you have given option of DWDR also in all the cameras. So especially this feature is mainly used in the during the daytime where sunlight is very strong and in front of the camera sunlight is very strong and person coming in front of the camera is showing as black, right? That time this feature is mainly used as a DWDR, that is because it's a digital WDR, and we have given this feature in all the cameras. So if you're installing the cameras in any of the entrance, like your ATM entrance or your society entrance, or even in the your indoors, right, where the wall of your building is made of glass, so there might be chance that the PoE sunlight is coming directly to your cameras, right? So in that case, we can go with the this feature, and using this feature you can get the proper image of that person as well as the background of that object. P2P support, so we can directly add our cameras on a P2P. That is, we have an application called D-Link Vision mobile application. So you can directly add our devices on that and you can monitor from there from mobile itself. No need to I have to go with the that I need to compulsory add via NVR only. You can just directly use our application for that, and can from there also you can have a multiple options. You can enable the mic or disable the mic. You can just listen what the person is talking in front of the camera. So there's the options we have given. Then we have also launched with the uh, varifocal lens camera. So basically the difference between the fixed lens and the varifocal lens camera is that in the varifocal lens camera, you can basically zoom in and zoom out, right? So no need of that I to be there in the place for the zoom in and zoom out. From anywhere I can easily zoom in zoom out via if I'm available on the locally there from display icon from the NVIDIA Geo, I can zoom in, zoom out, or through browser, or through mobile application, or through VMS. I have multiple options we have given through which you can easily zoom in, zoom out because it is motorized lens. So approximately a 5x optical zoom, you are getting it. Coming to the application side, you can use it in especially we have a long corridors, especially if you take an example of schools, they're having a long corridors, or in the parking areas where have a long lobby for the car moving. So that time you can use this camera for the zoom in and zoom out. We also given a 2WDR, which is better than the our fixed lens cameras, and mostly with the when you're suggesting a camera for the project side, we require this feature. So we have this 2WDR 120 dB in our camera. Plus, we also have an advantage that our camera is having a 512 GB of card slot. So you can the days of recording, if in case of your NVIDIA goes down, then you can easily record the more days of recording in your SD card. You no need to worry about that might the physical capacity is low and my NVR is not up, then might be chance that I will lose the data. But in our case, we have given slot of 512 GB, which is way better as compared to the competition market. Coming to the IR side, so the dome camera is having a 30 meters of IR distance, whereas a bullet having a 50 meters. So some customers require that they want to do the long distance monitoring, especially in the night time. So we can go with this 50-meter fire distance camera, so through which you can easily monitor up to 50 meters clearly. Plus the dome camera and the bullet camera both having a metal body, and the dome camera is having a IK10 also, that is vandal proof. So it's not easy to break the camera glass and rotate the camera view. Plus both the camera having a triple stream, and this camera is also IP67, that is waterproof. So you can, if you require IP67, you want to install in the outdoor, you can easily install these cameras and take a benefits of it. Now let's move to the NVIDIA side. So initially we have launched 5 models of the NVIDIAs. So out of which we have launched one SATA NVIDIA, that is in 3 variants. One with the 4 SATA, 8 SATA, and the 16, with the 4 channel, 8 channel, and 16 channel with the 1 SATA option. We have a 2 SATA option where we have 2 more variants, that is in 16 and 32. And if some customers require more days of storage, then we can go with this 4 SATA option where we have a 32 channel available in our 32 channel. So these are the models we have already launched, and soon we are going to launch with our 64 cameras in upcoming days, 64 channel NVRs in upcoming days. So these are the advantage of our camera. First is dual core processing, right? So basically, dual core processing, why we are using it, because our NVR, all the NVR supporting a 4K megapixel cameras, that is 8 megapixel cameras. It is supporting by our NVR, not just the one channel or two channel, but the all channel. So to make sure that I'm connecting my all the channels of 8 megapixel cameras and to work smoothly with all the processing of the image plus the processing of your features easily, we have given the dual core processing in the NVR side. Plus we have a higher bandwidth, very competitive in the market, that we have for the one SATA NVR, we have a 80 Mbps of incoming bandwidth and 80 Mbps of outgoing bandwidth. For 2 SATA and the 4 SATA NVR, we have a 320 incoming and 320 outgoing, which is very sufficient for your all the channels for the monitoring as well as for the adding the device camera on your NVR. Wi-Fi connectivity. So normally people used to either prefer to go with the LAN connectivity, but in case of there are chances that sometimes the LAN connection is not there, or you forget to put a LAN cable for your NVR. That time we can connect a D-Link NVR using a Wi-Fi dongle as a DW131, which is Wi-Fi dongle. You can connect to our NVR and still you can provide the internet to your device. So this is supported by our all the NVRs, or as a backup also you can connect it to our NVRs. It is supporting of both the connection, but as a LAN as well as a Wi-Fi at the same time. The main advantage of D-Link NVR is having a 10 TB of hard disk support, which is a max in the market, that our D-Link NVR having a 10 TB of capacity per slot. Either it is one SATA or a 2 SATA. All the channels, all the NVR supporting a 10 TB of hard disk. So my one SATA will have a 10 TB, 2 SATA will have a 20 TB, and the 4 SATA will have a 40 TB of hard disk space. So you can store the data of many days easily. Mobile application. So D-Link Vision have a dedicatedly we have launched this D-Link Vision application for our IP models. So it's exclusively for your IP cameras, and it is available in the Android as well as iOS, right? through this application you can real time you can monitor the cameras. So at a time you can see the 16 cameras live view at the same time. From the application you can easily if you want to control a PTZ camera, that is also you can connect it. If you want to do two-way communication, that is also option we have given. Plus, if you want to see the playback also, then also you can see the playback of the 4 channel at the same time through mobile application. Plus, if you want to share to anybody, you can easily share via this application, and you can have all the controls those who have you have shared this cameras live view. Then we also have the options of device management also, that not only just application is just for the monitoring purpose. We have given some features on the application side itself, that you can select the date and time, you can change the date and time of the device. Plus you can also enable or disable the features like motion detection or smart motion detection or the vehicle detection from camera itself, from the application itself. So no need to be I have to be there for the disabling my any features, or easily, or you can give the schedule to the camera also from mobile application itself. So you can change any time. If you're finding you need to change the application, if you need to you are finding that you need to change the schedule of the camera for the particular application, then open easily from the application you can do it very easily. Plus our camera is also supporting the cloud storage. So as I explained earlier, that cloud is very important in case of your local device got damaged and still you want to see the backup, right? So for that you are also given the cloud storage option. So any one camera cloud storage you can do it on your Dropbox or on the Google Drive. But the storage will be of event based. So if any events occurs, automatically the event clip will be uploaded to your cloud account and you can access it from anywhere, anytime. And this application is available for the Android and iOS both. Now coming to the VMS side, which is freely available for the Windows only. We don't have a currently for the Mac. It's currently available for the Windows. And the capacity of the software is up to 1,000 cameras you can edit in a single VMS. Plus the 64 cameras you can see the live view at a time. If you want to see the more than 64 cameras, then we have option given of the next slide, or you can use a time, you can use a timer that automatically will change the move to the next 64 cameras automatically. At a time, you can see the 9 cameras playback at a time. Even if you want to do any kind of configuration, like you want to do any motion detection configuration or any smart detection configuration or line crossing or intrusion configuration, you can do it from VMS itself. And if any kind of alerts occurs, you will immediately get the pop-up of window on your VMS. Then we also have options of creating an EMAP. So this application is basically used, for example, let's say I have some premises and I have an image of that premises in the form of JPG or PNG. I can upload in that image in my software, and I can put camera symbol as I actually put the cameras on the premises. And if anything goes wrong, or if anything event is occur in front of the camera, immediately I will get the alarm symbol on my that particular image, and by click on that particular camera symbol, I can see the live of the camera. So this helped me for the not watching the camera continuously, so I can do multiple works at the same time. And as I explained earlier, that this feature, this software is only for the Windows that we have launched. PoE, that is power over Ethernet, right? So basically, when I want to transfer data as well as power over a single cable, we are using this PoE switch. So normally in the surveillance industry, we are using the unmanaged switch for our cameras, right? The benefit of the PoE switch is basically will reduce the cost as we don't require multiple cameras installation like we are required in the analog cameras, where you're using a like one cable for the video and the one cable for the power supply. Here you are just requiring a one cable having a both the features in that you can transfer the data as well as the power to the camera. You can easily manage or no need to be go to the particular place for managing the device. Just you are in the premises, and from anywhere you can access the devices and do the configuration. So it's easily manageable from anywhere. Plus expansion is possible. So if I connected, I have, so let's say I've connected a 4 cameras or 8 cameras in my premises currently, right? And I've in future I have to increase that this by more cameras, then I can just do easily expansion is possible via PoE. Now the most important is the power, or you can say PoE standards. So basically PoE having these 3 standards, that is AF, AT and BT. So normally the camera which we are using on daily basis, they require a hardly of 7 to 8 watt of power during the daytime, but when IR power is on, when the IR light is on, the camera required a watt power is much more than the daytime, right? So we need to make sure that the device which we are connecting to the our switches, what power it is required, accordingly we can select the switch, or accordingly I have to select the switch. So the camera or the device which require less than a 15 watt power, that comes in a AF standard. The camera or the device require more than 15 but less than a 30 watt power, that comes in a 80 standards, that is 802.380, that is we call it as PoE plus. And the camera or the device which require of more than 30 but less than a 60, your more than 60 less than 100 watt power, comes in a BT standards. So these are the PoE plus plus, or you can say it, or the you can say the BT standard. So these are the basically 3 standards of the uh, power connection to the PoE switch. Now why it is important? So let's take an example of it, that here I have connected one switch as a DGS F110 PE switch whose total power is 96 watt, right? Now I'm connecting up 3 cameras of the D-Link, right? I've connected 3 cameras and each camera is required 12 watt power maximum with IR on. As a maximum I have taken as a 12 watt. So with when the IR will be on, the power will be taken by the camera will be 12 watt will be the max, right? And one PTZ camera we have taken who requires a 25 watt of power. And we also connected a one NVR of 8 channel, one router and the one access point. So these are the devices I have connected. Now if I calculate the watt power required by the my devices, its total comes around 71.5 watt. So my these 3 cameras having a 36 watt, this is 25 watt, and my access point required a approximately of 10.5 watt of power. This all three combines is 71.5 watt of power, and my switch capacity is 96 watt. So I can easily access all the devices, all the cameras, and don't have problem accessing any device. But in case of if I'm connecting up one or two more PTZ cameras, right, who requires a 25 watt of power, then there will be a chance that one of the cameras will be start fluctuating. You won't able to see the all the cameras output, or you can say all the cameras live view properly, because the switch capacity now is lesser than you have connected the device. So connecting a 2 cameras, that's 50 watt, which increase around to 121 becomes, so which is more than the my 96 watt power. So there are chances that I won't able to see the camera live view properly. It will be fluctuate one. So we need to make sure that when I'm installing any cameras on any site, I have to check there how many cameras are there, what is the watt power required by the all the cameras, total capacity of it, and what is my switch capacity. Accordingly, I have to install the cameras. If I'm making any mistakes while selecting the switch, right, then it will be very difficult for me to get the exactly required output. So this is about the watt power. Now bandwidth. What is bandwidth? So currently camera or the we are having a two streams, right? A main stream and the substream. Main stream is basically used for the your live view as well as for the storing of data on your NVR. And the substream is basically for your remote monitoring. So when the camera is sending the data to the NVR, right? We are using a main stream. That there will be a bandwidth consumption. When you are accessing the camera or the NVR remotely via mobile app or the desktop or the VMS, that time you're also still getting consumption. So this is a basically important that you need to know that where the your bandwidth going to be used. So when I'm connecting my cameras, my to the NVR, my bandwidth consumption as well as for the NVR when I'm remotely accessing it, right? So when you connect the NVR, right? So why we need a bandwidth is important because NVR is having a two bandwidth total, that is incoming as well as outgoing bandwidth. So when the data is when you're reading a camera in the NVR, right? That time the bandwidth is used, but will be from the incoming bandwidth of the NVR. And when you are accessing the camera remotely or through application, through mobile or through VMS, that time your outgoing bandwidth is used. So I need to know that how many users are going to access the camera at the same time. So accordingly, I can use my bandwidth usage. So how we can select the switches based on these two things, that is bandwidth requirement and the PoE budget. Right, so we have switches like output 100 Mbps, output 1 Gbps, output 1 Gbps and 2 uplink 1 Gbps, or the output 100 Mbps and 2 uplink 1 Gbps. So we have the options of these switches. Right, so according to my requirement, I have to select it. So these are the few models of the D-Link switch. So DS-F100P. This is basically a 10 by 100 switch. So where all the ports will be of 10 by 100, right? But normally in the switch, we normally connect the device within 90 meters of the range of the cable will be the maximum length of 90 meters on a practical side, right? So during that time, I'm getting a total capacity of my bandwidth is 100 Mbps per port. But if I want to increase my distance, that is let's say up to 250 meters, that time my downlink will be of 10 Mbps only. But my uplink will be of 100 Mbps on for 100 meter distance itself. Sometimes I'm finding that my switch is not enough and I'm going for the giga switch where my all ports will be of giga, that is 1000 Mbps or you can say 1 Gbps. So that time if you're enabling the longer distance, that is 250 meters, you're in the extended mode, then that time the bandwidth of that particular port will become 10 Mbps. So this all port will be of 10 Mbps and the uplink port will be of your 1 Gbps only. If you want to connect with a higher, that is of 18 port, that is your first 8 port will be of the for the 250 meter you can go, and the rest will be of your normal Gbps port, right? So that time you can use this switch that you require to first port to be first 8 port to be use a 250 meter distance. So there is a switch toggle switch, you can just enable that switch and you can go up to 250 meters. And in the rest of the ports will be of your 1 Gbps. And in case of your there's a distance between your two switches, right? Then you can use this fiber port through which you can connect up to 1 Gbps of fiber. There's a SFP comes through which you can connect your device via fiber optic cables. Now here is an example of how basically we are installing the cameras and what questions we are taking it. So Also, one of the small example which you can use for any small offices or your small house or a small shop, that we have connected 4 cameras, each of having a 5 megapixel of resolution, and we are using a TE switch, and I'm using a one NVR of four channel, right? So when I'm connecting a 4 cameras to this switch, I'm getting I'm going to use only a 20 Mbps of bandwidth, but this my and we are having a 80 Mbps of incoming as well as 80 Mbps of outgoing bandwidth, right? So I know that or the 20 Mbps will be reduced from my incoming bandwidth of my NVR. So left with the 60 Mbps, right? So I have a still buffer of that if I'm connecting any higher megapixel resolution camera on the same NVR by replacing this any of the camera, then there will be no issue for my NVR side as well for the bandwidth. Now coming to the point that how many persons are going to access this NVR, right? So if I'm accessing the same camera, right, and let's say 4 person wants to access these same cameras and want to see the live at the same time, then this total will be of 80 Mbps because the outgoing bandwidth is 80 Mbps. So each camera is taking your outgoing bandwidth. So total consumption is 20 Mbps, and this goes from your NVR. So maximum 4 person will be able to see this camera live view. But if fifth person comes in that picture that he also wants to see the cameras, then he won't able to see the camera live view because there is no buffer bandwidth for him to watch the camera live view. But if you go with the higher connections, or you can say some big project, in that case, let's take an example that we have a classroom of 7 rooms, right? A small school where we have connected 7 classrooms. So each classroom having a 4 cameras connectivity with the PoE switch, which is we have a DES F1010P. So that is total. We have a 28 cameras and around 7 switches we have connected for the camera total classroom covers. And now we have a one control room switch which is same as a DS1 F1010P, where we have connected our NVR, right? So now total my per classroom requires a bandwidth of 20 Mbps. I'm connecting a 7 numbers of switches, so total my capacity will become now 114 Mbps. Now let's take an example that this classroom, this switch, or you can say this NVR, that 2 person wants to access all the cameras and they want to see the first one will be the IT who's handling the cameras. Second one is the principal of the college, right? He wants to see the cameras at the same time. So they are able to see because we have a 228 Mbps of bandwidth, right? So they can via anywhere they can see. But if third person comes in the picture, right, and he wants to see the access, he wants to see all the cameras, that time the bandwidth will be very lesser because the switch required, the bandwidth required by your NVR is not able to provided by the your switch. So for that case, this will be the choke point. So because my NVR, the 3 person wants to access the cameras or the NVRs, and he wants to see all the cameras, but the bandwidth capacity of my that port is only 100 Mbps at that time. So I need to change my switch from DES to DGS, then only I will able to see all the cameras live view at 3%. So this is the only option we have, that we need to replace the switch by DES to DGS, and then only all the person able to see the camera live view at the same time. Smart manage switch, right? So basically now everyone is trying to uh, make sure that premises should be secure. There will be some security levels in your switches, or you can say they should be secure, that nobody able to access that devices or the network, and they won't able to access your data once they connected in your network. right? So this kind of security we required it. So for that, we can go with this TG smart managed switch, where through this kind of switch are mainly used for the security purpose, where you can just from the browser you can configure the basic features of it and you can use for your security purpose. So we have these three models of DGS 121010P, where we have uh, eight ports having a maximum capacity of 1 Gbps per port and two SFE ports. Then we have a 28 ports switch, same 1210, where we have 24 ports with 10 Gbps and the 4 ports are in the combo ports with the giga capacity. And we have a third switch, which is TGS 1250 20XMP, where all the ports are 1 Gbps and this giga port the fiber port is are of 10G capacity. So these are the some features of the security features of the smart managed switch, that is ACL, QoS 802.1x or IMPV or the ARP spoofing preventions. Basically, these features are used to make sure that if anybody or any third party person is connecting his device or trying to access your device from the outside, right, then you can prevent from him accessing your data. So for example, let's start with the first access control list, right? Basically we have taken the example here that we have our office network where we have connected a multiple switch. There is one switch for the where I've connected my cameras, another switch where I've connected my department of the accounts, then sales, and then marketing teams. We have connected on different switches and each having a different VLAN, right? And we have also connected one core switch where we are going to have a ACL installed in that, and we are connecting one NVR to that to the core switch, and we also have one FTP server in that network. So now what ACL we can do? So when anybody is connecting your network according to the his grade, or you can say according to his department, we can define his accessibility, that what he can access and what he can't access. So for example, if I'm a salesperson and I'm connecting my laptop on my network, then I have some restriction that I can access only the particular things of the data of my office. I can't have access of all the data. So if I'm trying to access this data, then this ACL will block that data, still will won't allow me to access this data, right? So for example, let's say I've connected my camera on this switch and my NVR, right? So if the marketing guy wants to access the this camera live view, right, and he's trying to access it, but he's not authorized to access. So when it's going to accessing the camera, this ACL in my core switch will stop him to accessing because he doesn't have a right to access the data, right? Same way, if when many persons are same way, if the let's say if of many persons are trying to access the data, at that time there'll be a traffic on your core switch because multiple persons are accessing the data at the same time. And if I want to define that my data should be, or you can say should be transferred to the NVR, that also I can do. I can give a path of it, which is a priority to it, that if in case of if I'm connecting my device, that let's have my cameras are connected in this switch, in this account switch, and I want to transfer the data to the NVR, I can't do that because I have given some restriction on my switch of my core switch through ACL, that my data should be, my device should be connected on this PoE switch, and then only from there my data should be transferred to my NVR. So this is also preventing us from the accessing the data of the premises. And if there will be multiple persons accessing the data at the same time, right, and you want to give the priority that if many persons accessing the same time the data, right, and you want to transfer this data, you have to make sure that your video data should be given a priority. That also you can do it using QoS, that is quality of service, through which you can transfer the data to the NVR directly by connecting your camera on a that particular switch. Then we have a 802.1x. Basically, we have when we're connecting any camera or the device, right? Like normally we are taking example of the our office. So normally when we are connecting our device on office network, there is some right they always ask for the credentials that we need to log in via our email ID and password, then only able to access the office data or we are able to do the further uh, entry in the office network. So asking for the do the these credentials. Without the credentials, we won't able to access the data. So for example, let's say if I'm connecting I have found public area where I've installed the multiple cameras, right? And if any attacker comes in that place and is replaces camera port with his laptop, is connecting is this device on the RSM switch and is trying to access the NVR or the data of that all the network, right? He won't able to do it because he require credentials of the login. Without the credentials, he won't able to access the any of the data. But let's say if he knows the credentials of the data, sorry, credential of the that any person of that premises, right, or that particular place, then we can stop him using this IPMB port, IMPB port, that is IPMAC port binding. So through which we can also make sure that if he's connecting his device, right, on that particular port and is trying to access, he won't able to do it because his data is not matched with the data we have put up in the code switch. That is his MAC and the port binding is not there. So he won't able to access the data properly. This is one of the example that we have installed or we executed these uh, school, that's Finland International School, where we have a requirement of 10G solution for the passive and active switch with using a code switch DXS 3400 2424 SC and the edge switches DGS 151028X and 151020X MP with the Wi-Fi 6 DAP X2810. So we have given this solution to the school where we have this product, the core switch. These two are the L2 level switch, SFE ports, and VR4864, and these cameras around 44. So they were having a 15 classroom in their premises, and each having a 4 cameras in that connected via this access point and everything. So we have given these solutions where we have connected all the devices using this normal DGS switch, and these all are connected to the via optical fiber, and this 10G uplink they required, and you also given the backup of it. So if in case of any of the network or any of the switch goes down, so from another backup he can add, or he can add the device or the cameras on a different and we are able to do the recording continuously. So for the, we also given them a DHCP server. If anybody is if is a new person is joined that school and he wanted to connect his device on office network, then by DHCP or we can have given the device, we can add it and to the you can see the monitoring of the camera. So these are the our YouTube links where you can visit our YouTube channels and you can do the configurations. You can see the videos of it and you can do the configuration. So thank you. This was about the today's session, and now you can ask your queries by unmuting yourself. To those who have questions, they can ask your queries by unmuting themselves. Rakesh Kumar, you have raised the hand. Do you have any query? Rakesh Kumar. Ritesh Barao, do you have any queries? You can ask. Ritesh Barao, do you have any queries? You can ask. Uh, Grayson Tikanj, I am unmuting you so you can ask your question directly. Rakesh Kumar, do you have any questions? You have raised hand. Amit Gandhi, please unmute yourself and you can ask your query. Hello,
Gadani,
Amit
sir.
Gandhi. Yeah, sorry, Amit
No, it's
Gadani.
Amit Gadani. Yes, I have just actually I missed the actually YouTube link supports. So please send me the YouTube links on this my email ID support@asinpo.in so I can watch it later.
Either way, sir, we'll share you the on the email ID here also, but we are going to upload this video on our YouTube also, so you can look for the
Okay.
YouTube link and you can use it for the
Okay.
requirement.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Azruddin M, you can ask your query. Azruddin sir, you can just unmute yourself and you can ask your query. I think nobody having any questions, and if you have, then you can approach to us anytime. Already we have given the support number on this page, so you can just take a note of it. And in case of any queries, you can approach to us or our sales team anytime and ask. We try to resolve your query. Thank you everyone for joining.